do it.
I sure am, pal. Your man, Seth Rollins, your
Yes.
favorite wrestler. He's back to take on your other favorite wrestler, Damian Priest. This is the big sort of open on the big hot segment on Monday Night Raw before the Wyatt Six thing happened. I want your thoughts, pal. General thoughts on one, Rollins being back because he's one of the best, like 2 or 3 wrestlers of the last 15 years. And two, I assume Rollins is going to beat Priest now, you would imagine, because
No,
Priest versus
no,
Gunther is hardly a match I'm desperate to
no,
see.
no, 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 no. No, Seth Rollins is not beating Damian Priest, pal. I have to say this about Damian Priest, and I didn't think about this at first, but really watching it play out, I think McIntyre made Damian Priest. I think he did at what was that? What was the pay per view? Clash of the Castle.
Mm.
I think he made Priest. I think he's like, okay, hear me out. I'm gonna lay this out for you. Damian Priest gets a 5-star match out of an A+ list celebrity last year. Backlash of Puerto Rico. Puts himself on the map, right? Then questionable booking. He's like, he wins the Money in the Bank, but he's like the 4th most important person in Judgment Day. And then, then he's like, everybody's like, oh, he's just gonna cash in and lose. Like, this is a joke. Money in the Bank's a joke. After all that booking, he ends up winning the title at WrestleMania. And it's like, oh, transitional champion, But then he goes in there and has a pretty good match in Scotland against Drew McIntyre. Has a pretty good match, and I think he might be here to stay as a top guy, and I think he might beat Rollins. I think he might. I don't know if we'll talk about that when we preview Money in the Bank, but I think he might beat him clean. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. It's clear that Damian Priest is a Triple H guy. Clearly, like he was in that era of NXT with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and he's been with Triple H's other favorite, Finn Balor, for like 2 years now. So, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. If Damian Priest is going to be booked properly, like, it's wrestling, bro. It doesn't matter that he was booked poorly for the last 11 months. Like, it's wrestling. Who cares? Whatever. It is what it is. But we're gonna use that when we're when we're discrediting Solo Sikoa as a top heel. We're gonna be like, bro, he got booked poorly for 3 months after beating John Cena. That's why he sucks. So it worked. When we want to use that excuse, we'll use it. But in this sense, I'm not gonna use it, pal. This is wrestling. Who cares? Damian Priest is gonna be fine, and I think he's gonna beat Rollins, and he's a made guy. I digress. Wow. It was great to see Seth Rollins back. On another note, Seth Rollins adds that oomph. That Raw has been missing that we've talked about. So, I mean, it's been a big week for wrestling, bro. We got the Wyatt Six. We got Jacob Fatu. We got Seth Rollins coming back. We got other stuff that we're going to talk about. It was great to see Seth Rollins back, bro. I was happy.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. This is a WrestleMania main eventer. This is one of the top stars in the company for a reason. Yeah. So,
and also, I was about to say this. Our listeners have gotten on you for slandering him. Have you gone back and read some of the comments from our WrestleMania season content? Like, people are like, bro, Jimmy, why do you hate Seth Rollins so much? And I watch back some of that stuff, and you talk about him like he's not a top 25 guy. You talk about him like he's some jobber.
I have to. Some of the stuff where I was comparing Seth Rollins, he's the OnlyFans equivalent of WWE.
Yeah, that was egregious.
To quote, I was like, him being in this match, there's no pride, there's no joy. He's doing it for a paycheck. Like, a lot of things were said during WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Anyway, so yeah, that being said, pal, my tune has changed on Seth Rollins now that he's in a different situation, pal. I want to see him knock off Damian Priest. I'm standing by. Damian Priest is a transitional champion. I don't think Drew McIntyre just made him a Clash of the Castle. But that said, he did do a good job for Priest. Like, I think for Priest, personally, I can only speak for myself, I think a bit more highly of him now than I did before Clash of the Castle. But I wouldn't say he's a made guy, just in my opinion. I think there's still a way to go with Damian Priest. I think he's still a very good upper mid-card guy. I don't view him on the main event tier. That being said, do I view Gunther as an established main eventer? No. So if that's the match.
Now, if Priest beats Rollins clean, and they have a good match, let's say Money in the Bank transpires, right?
Mhm.
Priest beats Rollins, and everybody, you and I, everyone else collectively were all like, "That's a 4.5, 4 3/4 star match." But what would you think then about Priest?
Ooh.
I mean,
Ooh.
that's really all it takes. I think. I mean,
Mm.
back to back matches with two of the top guys, in the
Yeah.
company at PLEs. Like at that point, I mean,
Mm.
and Rollins could have a good match with anybody,
True.
But I mean, to get a 4 3/4 star match, for example, that takes skill from the other guy in the match too.
And what I will say, and on the other point as well with Priest, that backstage segment with the Judgment Day they did on Raw. One, they need to do more of them. They need to
Yes,
make them more consistent. Where we're seeing the Judgment Day hanging out, chatting, doing their thing, just like that sort of thing. More of that, please, Paul. There, but Damian Priest, clearly the alpha dog in the Judgment Day, pal. He's you got Finn Balor's talking to whoever McDonough, and you got Carlito who's just there, and like they're just chit
Carlito's
chatting.
so funny.
I know some things he says, you're like, bruh, like, lol. And, you got Dom Mysterio's off just sitting on a couch thinking about Liv Morgan off in the corner. Damian Priest stands up, 6'7", wanders over to Fergal, who's like 5'5". He's like, and then he's just like cutting to the chase. He's being blunt. He's to the point. Stuff like that, in fairness, is doing a lot for Priest in my book. Like, that stuff's really
Yeah,
good. And yeah, when it comes to the, I guess, positioning of, not just Priest, this is a general discussion. It's how wrestlers go from like our view of them as upper mid card good talent to legit main eventer. Whether it's a moment with Damian Priest, like with Cody, in my book, one, it was the WrestleMania 38 like return, and then it was the torn pec.
yeah,
That was like the two moments you thought, oh my god, he's serious. Like, this is a main event guy. Like those two moments made you think that. With Priest, he had his cash in, sure, great cash in moment. And then, yeah, he won through some cheating because Punk interfered at Clash at the Castle. But I think, yeah, this Rollins match is a perfect chance for Priest to have that moment where you go, okay, this is that guy. I'm accepting now. This is a main event guy. I just feel for me, I haven't had that with Priest yet. The Bad Bunny thing was very good last year. That was like an arrival of Priest. He just needs to have that moment, that match where you go, okay,
yeah.
Damien, yep, please walk in and knock off Gunther at SummerSlam, pal. Please defeat this European pal, please. That's what it'll be, I think. So there you go.
Absolutely. So
There you
overall, would you say that this past week was the best week for WWE all year?
go. That's a spicy question. Oh god,
Hmm.
because WrestleMania week did have WrestleMania, but this as far as like a non WrestleMania week. I mean, the amount of content we've had this week's the most of all year. The only thing I can think of is like that week they had the WrestleMania press conference, pal,
Yeah,
when there was all the controversy and
yeah.
scandal
That's what
because
I was gonna say. Yeah.
that was the other week which had there was traction. We made like 3 extras in 5 days. We were covering this like we were going out of business, pal. It was crazy. We were going off. I was
Yeah.
yelling. You were trying to be somewhat composed at the same time. You were losing your composure. It was great stuff.
Yeah, that's yeah, when you got the Rock slapping Cody Rhodes, that was great. I mean, come on, that's iconic, pal. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is the best week for WWE in 2024, but it's up there. From a content perspective, I mean, anything Vince McMahon related is like that just has the most eyeballs on it, the most clicks. If we're being real here from a business perspective. But if we're talking just pure content, what we're getting on the television screen, it's really tough to top this. This, I mean, and for what are we, the middle of June, the heart of June?
Yeah.
This is the most excited I think I've ever been in my life, like watching wrestling in the middle of June. Like aside from the summer of Punk, those couple of weeks when Punk cut the pipe bomb, and then Kevin Nash is like, "Hey, pal, my sister, pal," So aside from that, like,
Oh no, that's
yeah,
garbage.
yeah, you
Oh,
gave me PTSD with the tug of war segment, so I had to throw out something for you, pal.
oh, I literally, I'm just visualizing right now. Like my eyes are closed. If you're listening to this on the podcast form, but you can see this on the YouTube. I'm visualizing it. It's 2011. Kevin Nash is in the ring. He's got his grey hair. He's got his little ponytail. CM Punk in his white best in the world shirt walks onto the stage with the phone. I got a text message from my sister, pal. OMG, Kevin Nash, LOL, WTF, thought he was dead. And that was the edgy, risque content of the Vince McMahon era, pal. The other thing I'm thinking about now that you mentioned, yeah, for mid June and the sort of content, I'm getting visual PTSD right now. 5 years ago, June 2019, we had deep in the guts of the Baron Corbin, Seth Rollins,
Oh
Lacey Evans,
God.
man's man
Oh my God.
storyline. This
Oh.
this is this is stomping grounds 2019, Kevin. This is, we're watching Dolph Ziggler and Kofi Kingston, or Kofi and Samoa Joe. I forget which one it was. We're watching, Shane McMahon's trying to feud with, he's with Drew McIntyre trying to feud with Roman Reigns and all this crap. And it's just like how far the company's come in the 5 years. Like this was when I tuned back into wrestling 5 years ago. It was Stomping Grounds 2019 was my first show 5 years ago that I tuned back into wrestling for. I was watching Baron Corbin chasing Seth Rollins with a steel chair, yelling at him. That was what I was watching. Now we're watching this. So much happens in a week. God bless Paul Levesque, pal. Thank you, Triple H. Bow down to the game, pal. The game took his head, left him broken and dead, pal.
Jesus. All right.
Anyway, in other news, I was want to ask you, pal. Did you catch any of NXT in the last week or two?
Yeah. I saw. I keep tabs on it. Yeah. I mean, I saw Joe Hendry. How could you not? What else was there in NXT? Jog my memory.
Well, NXT really lately has been a lot about the Trick Williams, the Lash Legend, I guess, relationship, situation. Ethan Page is in NXT, or Cody like last week.
I did, yeah.
Appearance.
That was so funny. That was so random. Like what? Like Cody's like the president, bro. He's like Biden here, making an appearance. Here's Cody. Give him a microphone. Let him talk to the great people, pal.
That backstage segment. Cody's got the championship belt. Ethan Page. Yeah. You've got Brian Pillman's son. All these wrestlers.
That was so egregious.
He's there with his boys, pal, from All Elite Wrestling back in Jacksonville, back 4 years ago, and during the pandemic era. Cody's like, "I am the WWE champion. Hey, how you doing, Ethan Page? What's up? What's up?" You got Shawn Michaels chilling with bald with his headset on, being like, "Hey, let's make that happen. Let's have Sexy Red out there, pal. Let's have Booker T have cardiac arrest on commentary because Sexy Red's twerking on him, pal." Like this is the sort of stuff, pal. NXT, can I just praise as well? I love the sort of, not culture, but the climate of NXT. It's a very fun, vibrant, sort of you want to watch it sort of product. Like I've been keeping closer tabs on NXT in the last sort of couple of months when Trick Williams has been champion than I have for a long time.
Yeah, same.
Like I'm more interested in this than the AEW product by far. Just if we're comparing the two, what NXT is doing makes me want to tune in each week. It's the personalities of the champions. Trick Williams, he's being his authentic self, amped up a little bit, and it's great. I think Trick Williams is incredible. He has the look of a star. He has the personality. What they're doing with him on television is great. Stuff like Joe Hendry and the partnership with TNA, Power Impact Wrestling, and Joe Hendry, he comes off to me, and this is just someone who hasn't watched the Impact stuff, comes off a lot like an LA Knight, like a really well-spoken, very full of himself in a good way, vibrant personality. You go, I want to see more of him. He's clearly very legitimately confident. He can talk on the microphone. What's he about? What can he do? And you want to see what he can do. And he went viral on X-Pow. I think the product's really good. So Shawn Michaels, I just want to say as well, he's doing a great job with the talent on display. The future's really good in that regard, and how they're being booked is really good as well. So just shout out there, unless there's anything else you want to say.
I just want to say Shawn Michaels has a knack for the female talent too in NXT. I mean, he's got a knack, pal. It's like Attitude Era levels of talent, pal, on the NXT female roster. So shout out to him and his Instagram page, his Instagram homepage. So yeah, just got to say that.
Yeah, pal. This is Shawn Michaels. Pal, a question for you. In the last couple of weeks, is obviously, I remember a show we did a few weeks ago where in the middle of us talking about this sort of thing, you mentioned a friend of yours who never watches wrestling sent you the TikTok of Sexy Red twerking.
Yeah.
Has anything like that happened since? I imagine, pal, with how upbeat and relevant this stuff is. Have you had anything in the last month or so from any friends, pal? Have you been sending anything, pal?
Yeah, I get I mean, there's so many memes, just culture memes that have like WWE related things. But I don't know if you kept tabs on like the Kendrick Lamar concert. Yeah, there was the Tupac meme where they're like, "Oh, Tupac showing up at the concert and his Sting coming down from the rafters at WCW." I get that. People are like, "Look at that! Like, what is this? Why is wrestling on my meme page?" But somebody sent me something recently about wrestling. It was like an old school segment. I think it was the one of Kurt Angle where he was like talking about how he likes molesting Rey Mysterio. I think it was that one. Somebody sent me that and was like, "Bro, what, is this real?" I was like this isn't
Oh, yeah.
AI. I'm like, yeah, that's real, bro.
And that's the thing. Yeah, like, and so those Kurt Angle ones you mentioned, there's like 2 or 3 of him where some of the stuff he's saying, you're like, "Oh my god." And then, yeah, is this AI? Like, did someone say this? Because especially nowadays, it's stuff you never hear because it's, you'd be canceled, you'd be shut down, you'd be deplatformed. And WWE, Kurt Angle, or any of these, or Vince McMahon, some of the things he said, Triple H, and just the Attitude Era, some of the things The Rock said, the one where, like the Rock's, pretending to be Chinese, pal, some of that sort of stuff. Like I still say I get that sent to me every other week, like
Oh
some
yeah,
some gift,
the
some
Rock, the
meme.
Chinese one. Yeah, that one's
Like
ridiculous.
me when I whatever, and then it's got the Rock pretending he's Asian now, like stuff like that's just
Oh,
crazy in my
I
book.
remember
So
what it was. Somebody sent me the promo uh the promo with Kane, where Kane is like impersonating the Rock. That's what it was.
no,
Some
yeah,
somebody sent me that, yeah, and they sent me like, did you see this where this guy did a meet and greet with Kane and he told Kane to choke him?
didn't say that. No,
Yeah, somebody sent me that too. I was like, I really did not need to see that. Like, I honestly, I was like, I really didn't need to see that. That was cringy. But yeah, go
That's
ahead, pal.
that's great. And yeah, and then just to close on this sort of topic before we move around the world, pal, want to shout out again this week my weekly acknowledgement of how good the Dom Mysterio Liv Morgan storyline is.
Absolutely.
Yet again, more great stuff this week. Liv Morgan takes Dom's vest and Liv's wearing Dom's vest, and they do all the innuendos and all the comments surrounding that. Brilliant.
I
More
love
great
it.
stuff. Just consistently very good. Not cringe, not forced. Great stuff. And shout out again, Drew McIntyre's assault of CM Punk in Chicago. Just mention that as well. And the more great segments they're doing that are organic and entertaining.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, we have to talk about this. Talk about the CM Punk Drew McIntyre stuff. I'm here to double down, and I'm here to come at you directly, pal. All right. You are absolutely dead wrong with your opinion about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. They do not need the championship, pal. They do not. They're the hottest storyline angle in the company. That was the right ending to have Drew McIntyre lose in his home country. He's a heel, didn't need it, and we're seeing it here, pal. With the attack, bloody Phil, pal. Come on, come on. They're printing money, bro. They're printing money. They don't need a championship. It's better without the championship. 100 times better. It's personal. It's personal there, John. Personal. It's very personal. And that kind of juice is so hard to get in a storyline.
Mm.
Like in and of itself, it's so hard to get that kind of juice. When is the last time that we've seen a storyline with this level of juice and what feels like real hatred between two wrestlers in WWE per se? I know AEW, everybody hated Punk, it seemed like, when they feuded with him. But in WWE, I can't remember like the last time where we saw this storyline. Trying to think, like Matt Hardy and Edge is like the one that just jumps right to my brain always. Um, Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston, they didn't like each other at that time.
Probably CM Punk and The Rock from 2013, but that's not
Yeah,
the level of this. That was a similar one where Punk was like F this. Like I just you can't like that was like personal in that sense. But
yeah,
I mean, this is just levels of more personal, more content, more organic. And yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna just comment on what you've said there. I will say this storyline very organic, and that's what makes it so good. This is an organic hatred with these two. Yeah, Punk, Pepsi Phil, Drew McIntyre. I've seen people say this. This is hardly some groundbreaking new fresh take or fresh opinion. Both of these two needed each other. They came together at the perfect time. CM Punk coming into WWE. I mean, I was very outspoken with the play it on 2K thing back late last year. I was after the AW run, pal, and after his first WWE run where he quit. I was like, how's this going to work? Who's he going to work with that's going to get the best out of him here? What's this going to look like? And Drew McIntyre was in a similar sort of position where it's like, what next for this guy? How does Drew fit into the WrestleMania 40 card? What does Drew McIntyre do? Who does he feud with? And they came together at a perfect time, and we've had magic since. And so now we're sitting here going into July, pal. They're going to march on and have their match whenever they do. Hopefully they have like 3 matches. Hopefully there's a 3 stage of hell. Hopefully a Hell in a Cell. Hopefully some bloody no holds barred match. Do they even do a singles match? when like I feel like this needs to be like 2 or 3 stipulations matches, a no holds barred, a 3 stages of hell, a hell in a cell, something like that, even like an ambulance match. Or I don't know what you can do a million things with these wrestlers. So yeah, this will go for the rest of the year. I think have this play out for 2024. End it on like have their final match be whenever. I don't know. So much juice, so much sauce. This is one of the great storylines that gets reflected on. Pal, this will have wrestling bios, videos made in 4 years, pal. This will be legendary, pal.
Yeah, deeply personal, pal. All right,